Professor X.
You see, Ray, Professor X knows all, and he knew well ahead of time that we needed to start the show. That's why he cut you off.
Exactly. But I was going to say, I need to think of something better than just going with Professor X. We're going to do more stuff with Zavi. We're going to work him in, but
just say his name. Yeah, Producer Savi. The game.
Producer Zavi instead of Professor X.
Why? And just for fun, we're going to play the intro again, right, Professor X?
It is the best intro in podcast.
It is. Don't act up again because he might hit that button again, and we might get a third intro here if you're not careful. It's up to him as Professor X, but watch your back. He's making decisions.
All right, we're walking on eggshells here for this week's matchup. As always, that's Lee Elias. I'm Ray Carcelo. Welcome everybody to another edition of the Geeks Who Like Sports Mashup. We have a fun one this week, or I hope it's fun anyway, because I woke up this morning when I was about to send Lee the rundown, and I was like, I have a mashup. I have one. Hey, Lee, what do you think about this?
I hope you said this must be how Lee feels all the time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I love that you woke up thinking about our show, Ray. That's an honor.
Yes. No, I was like, what do we got to do today? Oh yeah, now it's top podcast day. Yeah, all right. and then, so the mashup this week is, we talked about obviously a lot of sports teams. We talked about obviously the X-Men, and we talked about the Embracer Group in video games, where they were split up into 3 new divisions, 3 new companies really this week. And so we were like, what superhero team would most benefit from being split into smaller mini teams?
Right.
So Lee, I will let you kick us off.
Well, since you created it, Ray, I mean, look, let's just discuss the obvious answers are the Avengers and the Justice League and probably
100%.
the Justice Society. So yeah. I don't know if we want to dive into those because those are the easy answers. I have some more not obscure, but like deeper thoughts on some other teams, right? Because again, the Avengers and the Justice League have been split up many times, right?
Sure.
So did you want to go through like specific superheroes that you'd like to see in a team, or do you want me to go over some of the other teams that I have listed here that I think need to split?
I think you should go with your teams first, and then and how you want to split up.
I've got 2. So some people are going to argue this has been done many times, but I think it needs to be done even better. It's a Green Lantern Corps, right? Now I know that they are split into different colors and
different sectors, and
but I mean the actual Green Lantern Corps, needs to be split up. There's too many of them. They're all over the place. You can make some really cool teams within that. And again, I know they travel together sometimes, but they're all Green Lantern Corps all the time, right? Like we're talking about a new thing. So that's my first one. I have another one though. Do you want me to go into that, or do you have one first?
So I have one because I was thinking, because you're right, the Justice League, the Avengers, the X-Men, these are the ones that come first to mind.
Yeah, but there's 50 people in all of them, right?
Right. So obviously, and usually a lot of times you're breaking them up anyway because you can't fit that many people onto a roster. Right. My thought was that not only would I break this team up, but then they would go and start their own kind of like teams. Like they would start their teams outside of the team.
Right.
And so I was thinking, what if the Ninja Turtles all broke up into four teams? Because there's so many mutants in their universe, right? Like I could see Mikey teaming up with like Adrian Gecko and like some of the mutant frogs, like Genghis Khan down there, like Genghis Frog and stuff.
They have their own stories, kind of like when Kiss split up for a little bit and they each did their own album.
Yes, and then everybody realized that was a horrible
idea. Yes, and they became Kiss again.
Yeah, but I think that would be. I think you could have like Donnie would be all the would have a team of all the nerds. Leo would have all the leaders, right? And like you'd have Raph's team would probably be all the hotheads or whatever.
You could have some fun with this.
Absolutely, sure. Yeah. So that was my idea, was to split up the Ninja Turtles, and they would create 4 mini teams. We'll say even mini factions, almost like
I like it,
like teams of 3 or something.
I like where you're going. I think there's a lot of I was going to joke with the Fantastic Four before, but like you could do that. Another one. This isn't my next big one. I think my final one that I have is actually really good. But now, and they're kind of going to do this. The Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah,
should be franchised into different cities. Ghostbusters, right?
100%.
I do think that's where the film is going. Yeah. Right. The franchise is going, but the West Coast Ghostbusters, East Coast Ghostbusters. I mean, they're doing it in the video games already.
Yes.
But yeah, just splitting, because again, there's like 8 Ghostbusters now, probably with more coming. So, but my next one, Ray, is they're not really a team, but they've been teamed together. And I actually think, again, we're kind of seeing films with this, but I want to discuss it for a minute. but the larger Spider-Verse. I would love to see teams within the Spider-Verse of like we saw in the last Spider-Man with Miles Morales.
Oh, yeah, across the Spider-Verse.
Several of them teamed up to have a mission, right? I'd like 100%. To see more of that, right?
I agree.
Yeah, different Spider-Men and Spider-Women on adventures, maybe in the multiverse or beyond. But there's so many to pick from, including Spider-Man. Go out to episode whatever for that one.
Yeah, that's a fun one. That's one of
our favorites. You know, I'd like to see a 2D and a 3D Spider-Man work together more than just a cameo appearance.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my big pick here is splitting up the Spider-Verse into other Spider-Men or Spider-People and friends. Thanks.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think that would be a lot of fun. You could do that in so many different ways. And I think that's the fun thing about the multiverse is that you could really stretch out there. I mean, that's even what the one video game was about, Shattered Dimensions, where you had Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, Spider-Man Noir, and Spider-Man 2099 teaming up to take on one threat.
Right.
Right. Like you could do that where you have like a team of 4 and they all have to come together or whatnot.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, I'd like to go beyond Miles Morales and see other adventures with Peter Parker and other people and other universes. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah, no, I think that sounds great. I think that'd be a lot of fun too. I honestly, I have trouble thinking of more because there's so many that we could go.
I mean, the only other one that I was thinking about earlier is The Watchmen.
That's a good one.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's kind of in the nature of The Watchmen to split up.
Yeah, exactly. You know? I mean, there's also, and that's the thing too, is like with DC, with DC. Well, now they're part of the proper DC universe. Like, there's so many now. Like, everything's a Justice League. All the Magic users are Justice League Dark, for example, right? Like, so it's hard. It's like, well, I would have Swamp Thing. It's like, oh wait, Swamp Thing is on a team. He's on Justice League Dark now. Like, it's like, or he was for a time period, right? It's hard. It's something hard actually in the big two, right, in Marvel and DC, because they have. When somebody gets stale, it's like, here's a team, go on a team, right?
Yeah, I do have one more. A team that needs to be split up into mini teams. All of Warner Brothers.
100%.
You could have a Looney Tunes team.
Yeah.
Just split the properties up and please give them to the people who care about them. How about that one, Ray?
Yeah, that would be amazing. Whereas David Zaslav. Yeah, David Zaslav, you can go just you got your $50 million bonus or whatever it was. You went to the Knicks game, like whatever. Yeah, the company lost hundreds of millions of dollars last year, but he got a $50 million bonus.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
How much was it?
I think it was 2 digits. It was 20 or 30 or maybe 50. I don't remember. Actually, I'm going to look this up now. It was millions of dollars.
Yeah, I sent this to you because I'm like, I can't believe this guy got a raise.
Yeah, it made me so sick that I almost thought it was a $22 million bonus. It was close up. That's what it was. It was $23 million in stock awards and $22 million in cash. It was $45 million. Yeah, he got just shy plus his $3 million salary, so he made just shy of $50 million last year because he cost the company millions. But he got a bonus. He got a $50 million. He got a bonus. Oh, and he makes $3 million a year to burn the company to the ground. Look at that. You got a Ray Rant in the mashup. Look at that. How about that?
That's it. That's how you do it. But we want to know what you think.
So as always, Forley, I'm Ray. One other thing before we quickly close it, I was thinking too, like the Bat family, but then you've got the Teen Titans. You've got like all these. You've got the Outsiders. It's
there's a lot.
Dang, there's a lot more teams than I thought there were.
There's teams within teams within teams. I think when we say mini teams, it's in a future episode we'll have to do who we want to see together.
Sure, like we mentioned in the main episode this week. If you haven't listened to it, Spider-Man is Amazing Friends. That was fantastic. That's a great, perfect example because that's Iceman and Firestar and Spider-Man. Right. So and obviously some of the two of them were X-Men and then Spidey. So, but again, we want to know what you think. So, for Lee, I'm Ray. Thank you all so much for listening to this week's Mashup.